Following interior design trends gives homeowners a false sense of confidence in their design. You see the same kitchens repeated on Instagram, the same materials over and over on Pinterest, and it seems like every influencer and magazine and builder are giving you the same recommendations. And I believe this familiarity and repeat of material kind of creates a sense of safety. It's like everyone's doing it this way, therefore it must be right. But the problem is that that sense of safety and the confidence are not the same thing, because trends, like by their definition, they will move. Like they're cyclical. They're going to go up and down. And if you tie your confidence in your decision making to a trend, when that trend moves on, so does your confidence. To me, that's a really risky way to spend, whether it's 10, 50, 100,000 or upwards when you're making these like important renovation decisions. Today, I want to share with you how to think about trends differently so that when you design your home, you're making a design that's very personal to you, it's functional, and it has this timeless appeal long after trends move on. To be clear, I am not anti-trend. Trends can actually be a lot of fun. They introduce us to new colors and materials and just a different approach than how we normally would consider doing things. What I am against is using a design approach or strategies or materials that show that you don't understand why they work. And it usually is a bad result. Because the best homes are not made by copying someone else. These like captivating spaces feel compelling because they're rooted in the values and lifestyle of the people who live there. And it's executed in a way that just feels so natural and like effortless. That's when it works. So the goal isn't to reject trends. The goal is to understand them. And understanding really matters. One trend I've repeatedly seen declared out of style for 2026 is the open concept floor plan. Publications and designers are declaring that the open concept layout is out of style, and a large part of that is because of the lack of privacy and separation of functional activities that became so apparent during the pandemic when everyone was home in the house doing different things, and you really got a sense of what doesn't work about open concept when it's not executed well. But just declaring open concept is out, you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, as the saying goes, because you're ignoring a deeper question of why did open concept become so popular in the first place? Recently, I visited Casa Pedregal in Mexico City, designed by famous Mexican architect Luis Barragán. This house is open concept and it is extraordinary. Not because it's following a design trend, but because it executes open concept so beautifully as a design strategy. The space feels expansive and connected and full of discovery. Barragán creates this through changes in elevation, continuity of materials across the different spaces. There are sight lines that are so carefully and intentionally placed and work beautifully with the different fenestrations, like openings in the walls and the windows. The house completely like blooms as you walk through it. Like you get this deeper understanding of what will happen in each space and how it like informs the other spaces around it. It's amazing. The underlying principles are connection, flow, and depth, and that's why it works so well. I feel like builders saw these iconic homes and they're like, okay, how can we produce this on this size lot in suburbia at this price point? And they just looked around, they're like, well, there's not many walls, so let's remove all the walls. And so they just kind of like thoughtlessly tried to copy what they saw without making an effort to understand it on a deeper level. The spaces they made just end up feeling like kind of loud, and that there's a lack of privacy, there's a lack of containment of activity and energy even. It just kind of carries throughout everything. When you take the time to understand the principles of design, you see that you cannot just copy what you see someone else do. It has to actually be relevant and meaningful in this new application. Accent walls are another feature that many design publications are declaring is like over in 26. And really many of these applications deserve that designation, like stop doing this, please. But I experienced something very different when I visited the personal home of Luis Barragán, Casa Barragán. Barragán's work silently explains why broadly applied design advice often falls short. His use of color isn't decorative, it's architectural. It highlights materiality, it interacts with light and reflects onto other walls in the space. It envelops you and it creates a sense of emotion and movement. And as the light changes with the sun shifting over the course of the day, there's a difference in the shadows and the highlights created. And that it's so beautiful and it's so serene, and just, it's not this look at me kind of feature wall. It is an emotion and mood created by the feature wall. The lesson is understand what that design element accomplishes in the space and understand how to integrate it into your own. This brings me to the framework I use when I'm implementing any type of trend. Before adopting a trend, ask yourself 3 questions. What problem is it solving? Why does it work? And does it belong in my home? The first one, what problem is it solving? In our examples, open concept increases connection, it improves sightlines, and it helps distribute light. A kitchen island can create like a central gathering place. A banquette can provide efficient seating. Every design move should solve a problem that is relevant to the way you and your family, big or small, how you live. And if it isn't solving one of those problems, then it probably isn't worth it to pursue. Question 2, why does it work? What are the mechanics behind it that makes it impactful? As in, what creates the emotional impact that you're so drawn to? When you understand why something works, then you can look at how you can reapply it instead of just copying it. Question 3, does it belong in my home? This is the most important question. Does it belong in my home? You need to really understand, how do you live? How does your family function? What frustrations are you trying to eliminate? And what are the moods, emotions that you're trying to create? Are you trying to create a space for studying that is calming and soothing because you want your children to have a positive experience? You need to tailor that study room to how your child learns, and not just, a way that Amber Interiors did a beautiful room and then you're going to copy it. A trend may work beautifully in one home and be the cause of a problem in another. So the context really matters. This is how trends become useful. Not as shortcuts, not as hacks or hard and fast rules, but as tools that help you create a home that feels intentional, purposeful, and functional. On top of that, beautiful and authentically expressive to who you are. Design has always been about serving you, the user, not another thing in life that we have to chase after. It's about creating an environment that supports you and the way you want to live. And that's why I believe trends don't create confidence, they actually replace it. Real confidence comes from understanding and knowing why you're making a decision. I'm Sarah, founder and principal designer of Outliers Interior Design Studio. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up so I know the type of content to bring to you. If you're in the middle of a renovation and you would like more thoughtful design advice, please hit subscribe. I'd love to have you follow along. Thank you so much for watching and sharing your time with me. See you on the next one.